There isn't a person except that they aspire to have a successful career, a job that can provide for them, and one that they enjoy engaging in and participating with. At the same time, they benefit the rewards of their hard work financially and so on. Muslims, however, are encouraged to find the best of jobs suitable to their interests. And maybe this isn't something they hear enough. We, as a Muslim populace, should understand that we should be encouraged to pursue whatever dream we want, and not necessarily contingent or motivated by cultural expectations either. Although if you can blend and marry the two expectations, what you want, what you expect versus what others also expect, and making halal work a halal source of income, then more power to you. However, oftentimes it is forgotten that when you receive that rizq Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has finally blessed many people with, that we also need to remember a portion of that rizq doesn't belong to us. Many people forego and miss that there is an obligation called a mandatory tax or charity, khums, or that zakat that needs to be paid. Allah has blessed you. Do not make that blessing turned into a curse. And a blessing can turn into a curse. Blessings are contingent, they're not necessarily fixed. Like food is a blessing, but later on it can be a curse. The same fire that gives you warmth, shelter, protection can also burn down your house. Let's not make our jobs or our careers the blessing that also harms our progression with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a wonderful example given in the life of one of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, where we found an individual who was searching for an opportunity to expand his business. And he was not succeeding, he was hesitant, he ran into many obstacles in that progress. So he approached the Imam. He approached Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he began to ask and request, Ya ibn Rasulullah, I would like for you to consult the Holy Quran, meaning do istikhara, take a khira, and see, is it worth investing my efforts in expanding my business such that I am risking a few things, but at the same time there's a huge potential for gain. Many times we run into that opportunity where it's a bit risky, maybe signing up for a particular company because you see the risks that it has to offer, but the potential gain is really attractive. And so a person might feel, it's necessary to consult the Quran at this point. What better Quran to consult than the Quran that is read by the Imams of Ahlul Bayt? So this man goes to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he has this very issue. He wants to invest a lot of his money, but he is worried that there's a lot of potential, but there's also, on the flip side, potential for it to drop and not go anywhere, and I would lose, let's say, my life savings. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam took the istikhara, he consulted the Quran, and he said to him, it didn't come out in your favor. I looked into the holy book, and what I understood was that if you continue and pursue this career, you're not going to benefit. You will not have that tawfiq from Allah. Time passed, the person thanked the Imam, and then he went on his way. Later on, the Imam ran into the same individual. And he ran into him, and the man said to him, Ya ibn Rasulullah, do you remember when you took the istikhara for me, and it came out not into my favor? Imam said, of course. The man said, well, I decided to pursue it anyways. Imam said, why? And what happened? The man said, well, I was too drawn at the offer. It's like when you see a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, whether it's a movement or a trend. Recently, you might have seen the events going on in the stock market, and it's very trendy, and people are throwing, their wealth in a certain direction, and you just want to ride that trend as well. And this man saw this flash before his eyes, and he took it. He's like, well, it was too attractive. I did it, and guess what? I also benefited. I got my return. So imagine there was this moment where you can see a particular business about to explode and do very well. And days before it does that, you throw all of your savings, all of your wealth, and suddenly your money doubles or triples or quadruples. But before you did that, an imam from the imams of Ahlul Bayt told you, don't do this, Allah will not be on your side here. The man made a huge return. And he said, despite your advice, I not only decided to invest my wealth, I also made massive returns, massive gains. So, and I don't understand, because it's not that I am a disbeliever in your significance, Ibn Rasulullah, but I would assume that your istikhara would carry that knowledge, that merit. I decided not to take its advice, and I was muwaffaq. I got that blessing and tawfiq. Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam said to him, look, when we consult the Holy Quran, if we get an answer, then just because you don't see that answer, does it mean that the answer is false? The man said, what do you mean? He said, listen, before business, before you invested, how was your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said, it was very good. How was your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you invested? He said, it's very good. How is it now? He said, it's still very good. My relationship with my Lord is very well. The Imam followed up, then what about your prayers? The man said, what about them? Before you invested, were you praying? He says, of course I was praying on time. How about now? He says, you're right. Ever since I invested into this business, it takes a lot of my time away. There isn't a single salah after I made this investment, except that it's now qada. Every single prayer is a missed prayer for me, because this job takes too much of my time. Tawfiq, or being very blessed, a moment of extreme blessings, is not relative, or is relative, but it's not exclusive to only wealth. Your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if it worsens, no matter how much wealth you gained, how many people you've established a good relationship with, you are not blessed. That is not tawfiq. The man, before he got into this business, he was praying on time. All of his prayers after going and investing, and despite the advice of the Imam, have now been qada and missed. So the khira, the istikhara, when the Imam consulted the Quran, was in reference to that don't do it, it's not in your favor. This serves as a healthy reminder for us that there are obligations out there, there are careers out there, and the offer seems very beautiful, but keep in mind your priorities. If come the time of prayer, if you cannot go and pray, but there is still that window for prayer, say you don't necessarily have the opportunity to pray at the time of salah, but between, let's say, Dhuhr prayer and Maghrib prayer, you still have that window to pray. If you can make that prayer, then so be it. But if you completely cannot, say the nature of the job does not allow you that time, reconsider what you are doing. Yes, many might see the benefit of receiving the financial blessing, receiving the aid that they are not able to support themselves. But don't forget, ultimate rizq comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from a boss, not from a company. And if you're not prioritizing your Lord, but you are prioritizing your company, the company, everything is in Allah's hand. Don't run away from that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of. If you can maintain your principles, even if it's not necessarily in the exact time, moment of salah, although that's even better. If you can pray exactly on time, take that time, a little break, and go to the side and establish your salah, then that's even better. That's more encouraged. That's what would be expected. But if you can squeeze your prayers, or let's say if you are not going to jeopardize your jurisprudence, if you are to engage in behavior that is not befitting of your faith, interacting in very close ways with, let's say, people who you are not to interact with, or sell and trade things you are not to sell or trade, say the transactions of like alcohol and the likes of this, then you need to know that rizq will always be there. There will be more opportunities, but there is only one Ar-Razzaq. And if you are going to displease Ar-Razzaq for this moment of rizq from someone who's going to give you money, but the day you just break their rules, they're going to kick you away, how beautiful is it to remember that yes, at a company, you might be blessed, you might receive that sustenance, but the day you show up late to work, and the day you don't do a really good job in meeting and fulfilling their expectations, they could just fire you. Despite you displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah didn't fire you. His moments are always open. A career with your Lord is always open. His investments are always open. Even if you disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will still allow you to come back and receive from His rizq and sustenance. Ultimately, you're much better off. You are way better off in maintaining that healthy balance of understanding that Allah is my source of income, definitely, but I can find others who can also benefit me. If those who benefit me now are asking me to displease my Lord, then I need to push them to the side. Even if for a moment I will not receive any of that sustenance, I need to remind myself that at the end of the day, all rizq goes back to Him. He is the source of wealth. He is the manba', the complete beginning and end of all my happiness and all my wealth. Everything else is secondary. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is primary.